So it looked like Caitlin Clark has had a private meeting with none other than the GOAT himself, Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Caitlin Clark just popped up at Michael Jordan's super private golf club, and the internet totally lost it. This wasn't some open to the public thing or even a Nike ad. Nope, it was an invite-only situation at Grove 22, where MJ literally picks every guest himself. And get this, while all that's happening, Angel Reese is probably seeing it unfold on social media just like the rest of us. The timing, the look of it all, it's just wild. Seriously, is this the biggest flex in women's basketball ever? Or are we all just making too much of a golf game?
Recently, she was on a golf course, but not just any golf course. These photos shared by a young lady who was on the golf course with Clark and wrote, "What a moment to get to hang out at the golf course with my favorite basketball player. She's as nice and humble as you can be. Hopefully one day we'll be playing with you." And you see, obviously, Caitlin there on that golf course. And that wasn't the only post about it. There was another account, I'm assuming her father, but he posted about it as well, that Caitlin and had herself a day. Brandon, with the same photo, played Grove, I don't know how it's said, and met the best female hooper in the game. That Grove golf course is Michael Jordan's golf course, which is apparently invite only, exclusive.
Okay, let's break down exactly what went down, because these details are way more important than people think. Caitlin Clark wasn't at some random celeb golf thing you can just buy your way into. No, she was at Grove 22, Michael Jordan's personal, invite-only club in Hope Sound, Florida. You can't just show up there. You don't call for a tee time, and you definitely don't bring a +1 without approval. MJ himself has to invite you, period. The member list? It's basically like the Forbes rich list mixed with the greatest athletes ever. We're talking the absolute top tier, and somehow, at just 23, Caitlin Clark is on it. Just let that sink in for a second. That's serious GOAT territory.
The biggest GOAT of them all, the greatest of all time to ever play a sport, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You know who's working out, who's training and prepping for their golf tournament, getting their golf swing right at Michael Jordan's private.
So, the photos that came out show Caitlin looking totally comfortable, even casual, while golfing. She was rocking what looked like her own signature shoes, not even Nike promo stuff, but her actual gear, and she was doing it at Michael Jordan's club. The symbolism there is just too perfect to be an accident, right? She wasn't just there like some starstruck athlete, thrilled to be invited. Nope, she was there as a peer, or at least that's how it's coming across. And that distinction? It's huge. It puts her in a spot not as a rising star needing guidance, but as an established brand that Jordan himself sees as worthy of his time and attention. That's a whole different level of validation, something no WNBA player, even the legends, has gotten before.
Caitlin Clark getting ready to light up the PGA little situation they got going on that she'll be playing in. It's gonna be a record-breaking audience, as we know, as always with Caitlin Clark. It is a record.
Now let's talk about what this really means. Beyond the initial "oh cool, they met" reaction, Michael Jordan doesn't do anything casually. You know, the man literally built his own private golf club because he was sick of waiting for random people on public courses who would always recognize him and mess up his game. He needed control over everything, the pace, who was there, all of it. So the fact that he actually invited Caitlin Clark, that means he sees something truly special in her, something he doesn't see in most others. And knowing how selective Jordan is about who he publicly hangs out with, this isn't just some friendly gesture. This is absolutely strategic.
So here we have, let's take a look here. We got Caitlin Clark taking a photo here with the kid, and a kid actually got the Caitlin Clark's on, if you notice. Yeah, got the CC's on. And what's the big deal? What's the big deal, KTV? Shout out to offseason Caitlin Clark source. The location, Michael Jordan's private golf course.
Okay, so people have been comparing Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan since her college days, right? But that really blew up during her first WNBA season. Think about it. How she just dominated all the crazy media attention, sold-out arenas, record-breaking ratings, and all that physical play she got from opponents who hated the hype. It mirrored Jordan's early career in this super eerie way. So when folks found out these two were together, privately, the speculation just went nuts. Were they talking pure basketball? Was Jordan giving her advice on handling all this pressure? Or was it about brand building and business strategy? Honestly, it's probably all of the above. And here's where it gets really interesting from a competitive angle. Angel Reese has totally positioned herself as Caitlin's main rival ever since their championship game in college. Angel's been working hard building her own brand, separate from the Clark comparisons, you know? She's been doing fashion events, building her social media, advocating for player pay, just carving out her own space. And she's been super successful at it. Angel Reese is absolutely a star with a huge following and rel influence. But then this happens. Caitlin Clark just casually pops up at Michael Jordan's private club. Suddenly, all those fashion shows and Instagram collabs feel, well, a little less significant in comparison. Not that they don't matter, but meeting the actual GOAT on his home turf, that's a whole different level of validation. The timing of this couldn't be more perfect, or, let's be real, more brutal, depending on who you're rooting for. This all happened in the off-season, when everyone's trying to get set for next season, build their brands, stay in the Angel. Angel Reese has been really active on social media, workout videos, travel, lifestyle posts. She's been super visible and engaging with fans. But Caitlin, she went quiet for a bit, then just dropped this absolute bomb of a photo op, zero warning, no build-up, no teasing, no PR campaign. Just, oh, by the way, I was hanging out with Michael Jordan at his private club. That kind of move instantly shifts entire narratives. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the envy factor. That word gets tossed around a lot, but here, it's probably accurate, at least a little bit. It's not necessarily Angel obsessing over Caitlin's life, but more that this moment represents something every competitive athlete craves. Access to greatness, validation from legends, feeling like icons want to be around you. You can't fake or force that. It just happens when your impact is undeniable. And right now, in this moment, Caitlin has that in a way Angel just doesn't, despite all her success. The business implications of this meeting, potentially huge. Michael Jordan isn't just a legend. He's a billion-dollar brand himself. The Jordan brand is one of the most successful athlete businesses ever. If Jordan sees Caitlin Clark as someone who could reach similar heights of cultural and commercial success, that changes her whole trajectory. We're not just talking endorsements anymore. We're talking about building an empire. The difference between being a successful athlete with sponsors and being a brand that goes beyond the sport. That's what Jordan embodies. And if he's taking an interest in Caitlin's career development, he clearly thinks she has what it takes. Social media exploded, just as you'd expect when these photos came out. Comments went from pure excitement to crazy conspiracy theories about what they talked about. And of course, inevitable comparison. Someone even pointed out the girl in the photo with Caitlin was wearing Caitlin's signature shoes, which is this organic brand moment companies spend millions trying to create. Another comment mentioned how this proves MJ is actually paying attention to women's basketball, in a way previous legends haven't always done publicly. People also noted both Caitlin and Jordan have Nike ties, but the Jordan brand is its own thing now, a distinction some folks. Grove 22 itself is worth talking about, just for the context of how exclusive this really is. It opened in 2019, built exactly to Jordan's tastes. 18 holes, a fancy clubhouse with a pro shop and lounges, practice facilities, and get this, drones that deliver snacks and drinks during play. Because of course, MJ's club has delivery drones. The clubhouse design was even inspired by a golf swing, with carbon fiber and glass panels. The whole vibe just screams luxury and precision, perfectly matching Jordan's brand. This isn't where casual networking happens. This is where the most powerful people in sports and entertainment go to relax, totally away from the public eye. Now let's bring it back to that competitive dynamic between Caitlin and Angel, because that's what makes this story extra spicy. These two have been linked ever since that national championship game where Angel's LSU team beat Caitlin's Iowa squad. The trash talk, the gestures, all the media narratives afterward. It created this perfect rivalry the WNBA has totally leveraged. Both players benefit because rivalry creates interest, and interest creates revenue. But there's always been this quiet question: who really has more star power, more influence, more long-term potential? This Michael Jordan moment doesn't give a definitive answer, but it definitely shifts perceptions significantly in Caitlyn's favor, at least for now. Angel Reese hasn't said anything publicly about the meeting, which is probably the smartest move. What could she even say? Congratulating her rival might seem weak to some fans, but saying nothing could be seen as bitter. Criticizing it would be absurd, because meeting Michael Jordan is objectively cool, rivalry or not. So silence is probably best, but you can bet she and her team are already thinking about how to counter this narrative. Maybe it's a meeting with another legend, a huge brand deal announcement, or just dominating on the court and letting her game speak for itself. Only time will tell. What's truly fascinating here is how it shows two different ways to build a basketball legacy. Caitlyn has generally been more reserved publicly, just focusing on her performance and letting her game make the headlines. She's active on social media, but it's not her main brand-building channel. Angel, on the other hand, has really embraced social media and pop culture crossover appeal as central to her brand identity, and she's been incredibly successful with that approach, building a massive following. Neither strategy is inherently better, but this Michael Jordan moment suggests that at the highest levels of sports legacy building, raw performance and cultural impact still trump social media presence. Jordan isn't inviting people to his club based on Instagram follower. He's inviting people he respects as athletes and competitors. The big question everyone's asking now is, what next? Is this just a one-off meeting, or the start of a real mentorship? Will Jordan actually get involved in Caitlyn's career development, like he has with some NBA players over the years? Could there be business collaborations between Caitlyn's brand and Jordan brand? All that remains to be seen, but the fact that we're even having this conversation shows how significant this moment truly is. Previous WNBA stars have had endorsements and respect within basketball circles, but none have quite broken into mainstream cultural consciousness the way Caitlyn seems to be doing. And getting Michael Jordan's implicit endorsement through this association, that speeds up the whole process exponentially. Critics will definitely say this is all being blown out of proportion, that it was just a golf outing and doesn't mean anything. But those critics are totally missing the point. Symbolism matters in sports and culture. Perception shapes reality. When the greatest basketball player of all time invites you to his private club, and you're photographed there looking comfortable and confident, that sends a powerful message to everyone watching. And in a league still fighting for mainstream recognition and equal treatment, that kind of symbolic validation from someone with Jordan's stature is absolutely massive. For Angel Reese and every other WNBA player watching this unfold, it's gotta be at least a little frustrating. Not because they aren't talented or successful, they absolutely are, but because moments like this don't come around often. And when they do, they create a real separation between good and legendary. Every athlete wants to believe they're on that path to legendary status. But these kinds of moments reveal who's actually getting there, and who's still working toward it. Angel Reese is definitely working toward it, and has a legitimate shot. But right now, at this very moment, Caitlyn has something she doesn't. And in competitive sports, that kind of thing matters psychologically, even if people don't want to admit it publicly. The broader implication for women's basketball is actually pretty positive, despite all the rivalry drama. The fact that Michael Jordan is paying attention to the WNBA, and apparently building relationships with its stars, that suggests the league is hitting a tipping point of cultural relevance that previous generations just didn't quite achieve. That benefits everyone in the league, even Angel Reese, even if this particular moment feels like a Caitlyn Clark victory lap. A rising tide lifts all boats, right? And if Jordan's involvement brings more attention and investment to women's basketball generally, every player profits from that increased spotlight. So yeah, Caitlyn Clark casually met with Michael Jordan at his private golf club. And the whole basketball world is still trying to figure out what that means for rivalries, legacies, and who's truly winning the culture war in women's hoops.